A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 197th episode of the Together for Education webinars presented by Notebook. 2.5 years back, when the pandemic raged outside our windows and schools had closed down, we here at Notebook felt it was our responsibility to set up a platform for educators to connect meaningfully on discussing problems they were facing with the rising need of digital education and online learning and arrive at common solutions. Today, 197 episodes later, this platform has grown much bigger than we could have ever anticipated. All thanks to your love and support. We have discussed extremely curricular topics here, like digital learning, NEP and assessments, extracurricular topics like sports and theatre, topics like school finance and management, and even evolved topics like mental health. Today, we have quite an interesting topic, Metaverse in school. Metaverse is a very new idea when it comes to school education. If we go by the definition, it is an open source virtual platform that aims to recreate the real world digitally. Educators can make use of this to bring in students to a common platform from around the world and teach them about concerned topics via real life problem solving methods. Metaverse is supposed to contribute to an immersive learning experience with improved learning speed, hands-on experience, and gamification for the learners. Its uses and implications are indeed vast in the education space. Let's hear from the experts today. Our first speaker on this topic is Mr. Burrett. Mr. Burrett retired as the Deputy Headmaster from the illustrious Doon School in Dehradun after 44 years of serving in education across various institutions. Mr. Burrett served the Doon School as housemaster, head of department, dean of activities, dean of student welfare, deputy headmaster, second master, and acting headmaster with great distinction. He also carried out the visioning exercise for the Doon School in the year 2011 through an in-depth study of a number of British public schools and various schools in the US. Mr. Burrett qualified as a leadership trainer at Wellington College, UK in the year 2000. He is also an athlete, an adventurer, and a naturalist. And we here at Notebook are privileged to have Mr. Burrett as our senior advisor. Sir, thank you so much for being here today. A very good evening, and over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Gagori, and a very good evening to everyone at Notebook, Achin, and the entire team. Also to our esteemed panelists and our guests who have tuned in. I must say that I am not one for science fiction movies or 3D goggles or any supernatural stuff. But what I have seen in Star Wars decades ago is now a reality. And I can hardly imagine what education in the next 10 years is going to be like with virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and metaverse. In recent years, we have witnessed a rise in digital technologies that tie real life experiences with anything virtual. Nowadays, the metaverse version of a more centralized virtual world is a reality. It has unfolded from video games that blur the lines between real life and fantasy. Now, metaverse is a combination of two words, which meta means beyond or transcending, and verse, which means the root or the cosmos, which denotes a new virtual universe created beyond the real world. And as Gagori just mentioned, it's a shared, immersive, persistent 3D virtual space where humans experience life in ways they could not in the physical world. It can be defined as a virtual world or an extension of the physical world using computing technology. In other words, rather than simply viewing something like a broadcast or a web page or a Word document, on display, the metaverse is imagined as allowing us to be more a direct participant in the virtual experience. Basically, they are advanced computer technologies that immerse a user in the experience rather than just presenting it in the traditional computer smartphone manner. A person's presence in the virtual world is represented by an avatar that can interact with the virtual world and other people who are in it. The term has been around for some time, and it was coined by Arthur Neil Stevenson in his 1992 science fiction novel called Snow Cash. And of course, it's a buzzword ever since Mark Zuckerberg's decision to rebrand Facebook as Meta. Now, how is Metaverse actually going to be, introduced to our children? First of all, through video games. An early use of the Metaverse is in the video game industry. And video games such as Microsoft's Minecraft, Epic Games, international hit, or online game and the creation platform for kids, Roblox. Kids are into all sorts of high-tech video games. So the first thing that Metaverse is going to do is it's going to get more immersive, more real, more three-dimension. Also, it will help in social interaction. Metaverse isn't just a gaming platform. It's also helps people communicate, interact, and in a almost like a near lifelike setting. And again, this will be a great benefit, because if you look at what happened in COVID and we were all locked up and doing online, the only way we could communicate was on the screen, but that's a flat screen. Now we'll be able to communicate actually in a 3D world. And the other thing is business use. The social interaction can be extended to other practical uses for the Metaverse. Large parts of our workforce today are already spending so much time in emails, documents, Zoom meetings. So Metaverse for work is going to be, more collaborative, more immersive. Now, I could say that the declaration of COVID-19, the pandemic, forced humanity to rethink how we teach and learn. And Metaverse, a three-dimensional digital space mixed with the real world and the virtual world, has been, the talk. It's the big thing now. It's a trend for the future. It has tremendous learning potential, such as blended learning, language learning, competence-based learning, inclusive learning. In particular, a range of activities in the physical world has transited into the virtual world. Telecommunicating, online meetings, distance learning, online shopping, they've all become a natural part of human life. As a result, the human need to expand the boundaries of the physical world has been accelerated. Started a need for more advanced virtual world, owing to the breakthrough of virtual reality, augmented reality, and artificial intelligence, blockchains, etc. The Metaverse, which is a three-dimensional space with the collapsed virtual and real boundaries, has provoked increasing attention. It has been recognized as the next generation of the internet. Now, we believe that the presence of the Metaverse can be served as a new education environment. It enables learners to use wearable devices, enter the education setting without being limited by time and locations, and allows them to use digital identities to have real-time interaction with different forms of items. As a result, we can feel present as if we are in the real world. Now, take, for example, teachers. A teacher meets children in the classroom according to a school timetable or a program, or there's a video conferencing. But again, you're restricted to a certain space and a certain time. If you use Metaverse to teach, people are not constrained by time and location. On the one hand, the Metaverse can be a near ubiquitous educational space. Technologies such as high-speed network can help them switch to the real world and the Metaverse world fluently and seamlessly, as well as bridge the gap between learning in formal and informal settings. Now, I think Metaverse can also bridge the gap between rural and urban India, giving everyone the same experiences, the same landscape for everyone. Otherwise, it's heavily loaded in favor of the urban, well-to-do people. One of the Metaverse advantages is enabling students to attend their classes virtually and providing elements that are involved in real classroom, situations. For example, the geography and history, biology. I mean, just can you imagine the learning potential in this, where I can take my classes over the Himalayas. I can take them into caves. I can take them into the depths of the ocean. I can take them into, studying biology, studying, flora and fauna, deep sea into the deep seas. I can teach fishing by actually going into the world of the oceans. I can create a virtual classroom, which will have, I cannot even begin to tell you the concept of how I can teach my subject. Um, Metaverse can create a new education environment enhanced by high-tech technologies. Unlike social media, which associates one with isolates one with metaverse can help develop socialization. It is engaging, it is unlimited, it is interesting, interactive, and comfortable. It also helps better communication. However, on the other hand, there are other issues like privacy. We already have privacy issues as it is. This will just make it worse. And therefore, we need to be more protective of our children. Understanding what our children are doing in the metaverse will be even more challenging because we can't see the world they're looking at in their headsets. And there is no process in place for monitoring their screens. There are also health concepts. There are not only physical health, sitting or hunched over a chair, but there's also a hangover phenomenon which is being experienced. When you go into a virtual world, you can come back depressed and sad. And once you immersed in that world, you come back, and the people are struggling with sadness, with depressions. Of course, there's also addiction. Then, of course, there's also the access inequality. How can we make sure that everyone in the world has equal access to metaverse? We in India are still struggling with connectivity. There's a huge gap between the haves and the have-nots. And so this will have to be a big problem that we'll have to face. There are also other metaverse laws which we'll have to look at. Is it a crime? Certain things in the metaverse could be criminal. For example, in the virtual world, if someone touches someone without permission, how is this different from an assault? So there will have to be a huge new vocabulary on the regulations and laws. Also, there's a lot of desensitization. People playing violent games, people shooting and strangling people. This sort of creates. I can see it even now in children, even though metaverse hasn't come in. But with the current rather realistic video games they are playing, children are getting very violent. There's also identity hacking, which is going to be a big problem. Now, I know in India, companies like Infosys and IIT Madras have already started launching their own, metaverse solutions for domestic and global business. Tech Mahindra has geared up to harness the power of metaverse to bring imagination to life and offers futuristic experiences. However, I think it's important to look at, I know educationally there's huge implications and very positive implications. But as I mentioned earlier, there are also negative implications. And the greatest one being, will it be spread over the entire gamut of the Indian education population? Having said this, I hope I've set the ball rolling. I look forward to the views of the experts. I am not much of a tech-savvy person, but I'm still, as a teacher, a retired teacher, I still look forward to the tremendous learning potential that this that metaverse holds for us. Thank you very much, and over to you, Gagori.
Thank you so much, sir, for those wonderful deliberations. I wish I can go back to school right now, and this is absolutely a very interesting topic for all of us. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our next speaker on this topic, Mr. Achin Bhattacharyya. Achin is the founder and CEO at Notebook. A chartered accountant by training, Achin was a director at Deloitte prior to starting Notebook. He has worked in India and abroad in various senior capacities in GE, PwC, KPMG, and Deloitte. Achin is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, a fellow of the ICAI, a member of CP Australia and CP Ireland, and a member of CIMA UK. He's also the recipient of the prestigious Indian Achievers Award, an avid reader and a passionate traveler. Achin has keen interest in economics, history, literature, and philosophy. He's a regular speaker at various forums and chambers of commerce and also contributes articles to numerous publications regularly. He's also on the board of some of the most renowned corporates and contributes significantly to their brand strategies. Achin, a very good evening, and over to you, please.
Good evening, everyone. Gauri, am I audible?
Absolutely.
I once again welcome all of you to today's session. Meta is Greek for beyond, and verse represents the totality of something. In this way, Metaverse alters the human experience using technology to go beyond our physical reality. As Burrett mentioned, that Neil Stephenson, in his 1992 novel, Snow Crash, described Metaverse. He in fact coined the term, and he described Metaverse as a virtual world composed of unique environments, each with a specific purpose, be it to entertain, socialize, educate, and using and head-mounted displays, smartphones, and other media technology, people could enter these shared spaces, engage with each other irrespective of location. So in plain terms, Metaverse is the next iteration of the internet, a decentralized network of virtual spaces where users can learn, play, socialize. And if you look at the entire ecosystem and the concept of extended reality, XR, it's here to stay, and it's transforming how we work, we socialize, we learn, we play. And when designed well, technologies like this can support effective learning and definitely amplify the efforts of educators. But if we take a more holistic view and look at it in terms of what it is good at and areas where we need to improve, first of all, of course, the advantages are very obvious, be it in terms of personalization, because platforms like this can adapt to each other's environment and offer a very personalized learning experience, which are like within relevant context. Visualization, where learners can see things that are otherwise impossible or difficult to see in the physical world. Of course, active learning goes beyond doubt, where learners get the opportunity to interact with real-looking objects and environments. So naturally, it's far more participative, and they can far more connect to it. Game-based learning, gaming, as you're all aware, is perhaps the most prevalent application of extended reality. And it can not only engage learners, but also I think the best part of it is adapting difficulty based on need and proficiency. So it actually interacts. And of course, field trips, I think Burrett referred to it. It can actually transport users to places which are otherwise impossible to visit in real life. And the other part, which is very interesting, is role play and perspective taking, which can actually help people learn social and emotional skills or develop their self-belief. And of course, last but not the least, very, very interesting and important, immersive storytelling, which is, of course, one of the best ways to teach. But I think we should also look at the limitations, be it in terms of the kind of cognitive load it comes with, because a lot of visual and auditory stimuli, which increases the cognitive load of learners, because they need to process what they see, they hear, they read, and of course, time constraint. So at times, there have been reports of users, children especially, feeling uncomfortable or nauseous because in as little as 10 to 15 minutes, the exposure at times is tremendous. And of course, challenges with regard to be it accessibility, because technologies are not very easy for everyone to use. Affordability not only on the part of user, which is obviously there, no doubt about it. We've been reading so much about digital divide, And of course, things like this will take it to the next level. Huge gap in terms of affordability for a large section of the population, but also content for Metaverse is more expensive to create, requiring specialized equipment and skills to create interactive virtual environments necessary for effective learning. So naturally, this will limit the number of players. There might be great educators with wonderful creativity, great sense of teaching, but this will also need huge investment in terms of technology. So affordability naturally will come in as a challenge, as a drawback. And then, of course, the other very important concern with regard to privacy and safety. As we're all aware, with regard to the importance of data privacy, because business model of many large corporations rely on collecting data so as to predict user behavior. And there lies the challenge. And again, another very important challenge, how do you assess learning? How do you assess such kind of learning? Difficulty in terms of assessing learning. So if you look at a case study, a very interesting one, I was reading this. I was reading about ARRIF, a mobile-based application that teaches learners about how their action on land impact ocean health, which is of course a very good topic, right? Educating our children about the importance of using biodegradable material, etc. So using a smartphone or tablet, the learner can place a digital picture frame on a vertical surface from which the reef and its inhabitants emerge. Imagine this visualizes an underwater environment that is difficult to visit in real life and animates coral biology and the impact of ocean stressors. And learners can actually move around the digital reef and view it up close from different angles. So this interactive visualization was designed to support learning about the complexity of ocean ecosystem. But the challenge is, now we spoke about, of course, something which is wonderful, but the challenge is, for instance, in this particular case study, I was reading about the fact that learning outcomes has not yet been collected. Further, accessibility has been reported as limited based on the need to download application onto the learner's device and some tech complications with regard to that. So when we discuss about technology, of course, and with regard to application of technology in education, I think it calls for a lot of judicious application. Technology, of course, is wonderful, but we also need to understand the context, the setting, the culture before implementing any technology. For instance, one very interesting case study which I'd like to share with all of you. So there's something called one laptop per child. In 2005, two MIT professors had an ambitious vision, and I'm talking of 2005, to build sturdy computers that cost only $100 to be distributed in developing countries. So two professors, they came up with these wonderful ideas that let's ensure that every child has a laptop. Of course, very noble idea, no doubt about it. And the project received support from not only the tech community and design community, as well as United Nations, who came forward. Despite the idealistic intentions, problems started piling up when they wanted to implement it. The cost rose to $180 while still cutting corners. That's still understandable. The next thing is, infrastructure on the ground was often inadequate, with lack of electricity or internet access, rendering the computers like laptops useless for many students. It was just a box. Moreover, most implementations did not have technical or pedagogical support. As a result, most evaluations of this program found no impact on students' learning, aside from their increased skills at using laptops. So when we deploy technology for education, it cannot end when a piece of equipment is handed over to a school, an educator, or a student. Instead, implementation should be done in accordance with local practices, context, and culture. So education and technology, if you see this, there has always been a very interesting and tumultuous history. So I think it's very important to actually define learning goals and then see if metaverse, extended reality could actually help us achieve them. And not only that, be more realistic concerning our expectations as to what it can achieve. And needless to mention, allocate time for educators to implement, to experiment, to iterate their teaching practices with the help of technology, with the help of extended reality. And also, as I mentioned, take into account the culture, context, practice within which this will be embedded. The other practical aspect which goes without saying is ensuring that budget includes all costs, including maintenance, training, which are also important. It's not only important to get a particular technology or a software or a hardware in place, but how about maintaining it? How about training people? And along with the cost of the platform, that also needs to be taken into consideration. And then again, create or find high quality learning content, which is relevant. And recognize that it is so important to also adequately train educators who will actually be handling it. So it's not only about using technology just for the sake of using it. So the other I think, very interesting and very relevant example, case study I was reading about this, as to where this can actually be very useful, this concept of metaverse, extended reality, and where educators can think otherwise. To give an example, let's say your learning goal is to inquire about tidal zone ecosystem with your students. Now, if you happen to live inland, extended reality indeed can be a very useful tool that will allow students to feel virtually immersed in this remote environment. On the other hand, for those who are living close to the shore, I think they can benefit from safe access to a local beach and take students on a field trip. Because using extended reality in such cases will keep students away from an outdoor experience with nature, unnecessarily substituting it with a virtual proxy. In other words, if you can get your feet wet, do so. If you cannot, extended reality can be a very viable and valuable solution. So a rule of thumb, I think, few very interesting things, using it for situations which are dangerous. For example, if you are training how to put out a fire, instead of risking injuries, instead of actually wanting people to go ahead and douse real fires, it's far more practical, far more prudent to use concepts like this instead of risking injuries with real fires. Second, situations which are otherwise impossible to create. For instance, walking on Mars, even though this is probably impossible during our lifetime. So naturally, situations like this are far more viable. Situations which are counterproductive. For instance, if you're teaching somebody about the importance of trees, about deforestation. So naturally, cutting trees in a virtual forest is far more prudent than learning something in real life, which will actually go against our aim of what we are trying to achieve. And of course, the expense part of it. For instance, someone trying to visit the seafloor, or someone wants to visit Everest. So situations like this can be wonderful. So there's no doubt that metaverse or concepts like AR, XR will not fix systematic problems in education, and might even create new challenges as we move along, new problems, but also scope of new innovations. However, understanding the strength and weakness of these new concepts will allow for thoughtful reflection on how we use these tools for specific learning goals and contexts. I think these were a few things that I wanted to share. We have a wonderful panel here today, a panel of very senior and esteemed educators with decades of experience, very senior principals. And I look forward to hear from them, their perspective, their take on this very interesting and contemporary topic. I thank all of you for giving me a patient hearing. Over to you, Gauri.
Thank you so much, Achin, for those wonderful deliberations. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss this topic, we do have a wonderful panel lined up for you today. But before we start with the panel discussion, a little bit about us here at Notebook. We at Notebook are an edtech platform that creates short videos pertaining to the school curriculum. This means that every topic from every subject of the school syllabus has been converted into a series of short videos that can be used in two different cases. One is when you as a teacher are starting out a topic in your classroom, you can play one of these videos as a method of visually introducing the topic to your students. These videos are just 6 to 10 minutes in duration and take up very little of your class time while offering the right kind of material to students to generate curiosity and excitement. The second is when the student is studying at home, much later, they have access to the same videos on their personal devices, be it a laptop or a smartphone. They can watch the videos over and over again until they get a very clear understanding of the topic that you have taught. What I am going to do now is play you some short snippets of notebook videos so that you know what they exactly look like.
Force. We use this term very commonly in our day-to-day life. But do you know where we use it? Opening a door, riding a bicycle, and lifting a box are some things that we all do in our daily lives, and all these require a force. Let's see an example. So if a player wants to pass this ball to his teammate, he will have to kick the ball. As you can see, he has successfully moved the ball in direction of his teammate.
This is 4000 BC, that is 6000 years ago. And yes, we take a time machine for this journey. First, we land at Babylonia, the city of commerce, and we see payment of wages and expenses being made. And yes, they are using clay tablets to keep the records.
Both the kids keep playing with the globe, trying to identify the different places. They discuss about whether the people who are in the lower part of the globe stand a chance to fall off. But then they think that maybe we are not on the globe, but actually inside the globe. And that is why we are not falling off.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, those were some short snippets from notebook videos as you just now saw. We have today connected with over 3,500 schools and have had more than 44 lakh students benefit from our videos. If you head over to our website www.notebook.school or use our mobile apps for Android and iOS, you would find more than 10,000 such videos at your disposal. With that, it is now time to introduce the wonderful panel that we have with us today. We have with us today Dr. Pooja Sharma, Principal, RPS International School, Haryana. RPS International has recorded a meteoric rise in the educational scenario under Dr. Sharma. For her commendable contribution to the school education, she has been awarded and honored with praiseworthy achievements in academics and co-curricular activities. She has to her credit the Best Teacher Award, the Best Principal Award, AKS Education Award, Global Education Award International 2022. She is the recipient of Visionary Principal Award for Excellence in Values and Success Skills by Spanish Olympiad and Best Motivator Award. Recently, her school, RPS International, has been awarded with a highly reputed Global Innovative Award. Her accomplishments serve as an inspiration to the school. Ma'am, a very good evening and welcome to the panel. Next, we have with us Dr. Shruti Sharma, ma'am, Principal, Tandon International School, Punjab. Ma'am holds a PhD in Education, UGC NET Education, MCF, MCOM, MA in English, NCT, BEd, and MA in Education. She has around 27 years of academic experience, including 20 years with CBC schools. Ma'am is on the profile of Principal of Senior Secondary CBC Schools since December 2013. Prior to her current role, she has been associated with various institutions and schools like Shantiniketan Public School, Agra, MPS World School, Agra, GC Gold International School, Agra, State MR Jaipur School, Prayagraj. Ma'am is a master trainer certified by Int'l Tech to the Future Program with support from Microsoft and also the Center Superintendent for CBC Examinations, AISSE and AISSCE, CTET and UGC NET since 2013. Ma'am, a very good evening and welcome to the panel. We also have with us today Dr. Rashmi Tyagi. Ma'am holds a PhD in chemistry from IIT Roorkee, is a BEd gold medalist and holds an MA from Mumbai University. She taught chemistry at University of Mumbai and at University of Baroda. She worked as a principal in different CBC schools and was trained as a CBSE principal at IIM Bangalore. Ma'am has won the Ideal Principal Award 2008, the Commendable Paper Presentation Award by NCERT CBC Conference 2010, Educationist of the Year Award 2013, Science Communicator Selection, Indian Science Congress 2015 Award, and was honored by Srinagar University for Aquaponics, Animal Science Congress 2016. She was given the School Bus and Child Secretary Award 2017, the Leadership Excellence Award UAE 2018, and the Lifetime Achievement Award 2020 by the Campbell University in USA. I'm quite sure I'm still not naming all of them. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here today, and always a privilege to have you in the panel. I can request the panelists to switch on their videos. I would start with Pooja, ma'am.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, ma'am. I would start the panel with Dr. Pooja Sharma, ma'am.
Thank you very much for introducing me and giving me an opportunity to share my views and opinion on this very crucial topic. I observed that video of yours that you people are doing wonderful job in this field of education, and this will definitely going to help out the students to learn conveniently. I had heard the interaction of Mr. Achin, Bhattacharyya and Mr. Philip, though the entire concrete was from the mouth of horses itself. So I'm feeling that, yes, this was really very wonderful session, and I learned a lot as a learner. Definitely I'll share my views, but Philip sir told that now lots of experts are there. So I am not an expert. First, I want to clear it. Nowadays, during the pandemic, lots of things we observed, we faced, and then we come to know that, yes, transformation is required. And we people are at the verge of transformation, learning in the metaverse. A guide for practitioners: imagine standing in your living room, but feeling as though you are exploring the ocean floor alongside a friend who lives on the other side of only in the metaverse. So as a sir had shared that the meta is a Greek word only, and which means that in totality, there is something which is not physical, but it is something which is existing. So metaverse alters that human experience using technology to go beyond our physical reality. Yes, the term was originally coined by Neil Stephenson, and now we people are living this in our education. And as an educator, as a principal of an institution, I feel that, yes, this is a bliss. Without that, crossing that scenario and that pandemic was impossible for all of us. And each with a specific purpose to entertain, to socialize, to educate, and more. It is possible through metaverse only. Decades after Stephenson's that social allegory and advances in the computational sciences, communication technology are making the metaverse more in a reality. In plain terms, the metaverse is the next iteration, which I'm agree with Mr. Achin Bhattacharya, who said it. Yes, leveraging others' emerging technologies, for example, the 5G, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and lots of other names are there. And the shifting from 2D graphics to flat scenes and the 3D graphics. The metaverse will enable the creation of an interactive and virtual relevance of the physical world in terms of people, places, and things that we will be able to explore through extended reality platforms. Technology is not a silver bullet, we all are aware, to fix struggle system of education. Technology is merely one of the tools available in the educator's toolbox. Moreover, a tool is only as good as its ability to serve a social and the specific goal. After a century cycle propelled by naive conceptions of the role of the technology in education, it is time to change the course of history and break the cycle by learning from past mistakes. Let's make sure that these kind of the extended learning in XR is seen for what it is, not a goal in itself, but a means to be carefully thought out. And in education, the goal concerns what needs to be learned once learning goals are clearly defined, then it is time to judiciously think about which strategically educators can achieve their objectives. Yes, as a teacher, I got positivity in it. I learned a lot through that. My teaching was very easy, convenient, and comprehensive. To give an example, let's say like our learning goals and is to inquire about the tidal zones, even Sir shared the same. It became very easy through the virtual platform and to the emergent role of the remote environment. At the same time, I want to say that unnecessarily substituting of the virtual proxy is kind of, we need to introspect for that. A rule of the thumb is always use 2VR for the experiences of the otherwise would be very dangerous. But we need a training that how to put out a fire instead of risking injuries with real fires. Walk on Mars, even like in this video, I observed that students, they can learn a lot about the entire cosmos. For example, the Mars even is not impossible nowadays. For example, the cutting the trees, deforestation, if you want to show the child, it's very convenient and easy. And it's not an expensive project even to explore the world, to explore the universe. Become a diverse to the remote location you have always dreamt to visit, while VR can transport and you somewhere couldn't go otherwise by taking you away from the reality. AR, MR, that to add user surroundings. With AR, you can clean a virtual penguin covered in oil in your own sink. Or you can get help of identifying the plants you encounter during the outside hike. So we know XR and the metaverses will not genuinely fix the systematically problems in the education, but might even create new problems. Each and everything is having the pros and cons, but it's up to us how intelligently, smartly we are using the technology. I think as an educator, it is going to be a strong tool for me, and I'll try to use it in future. And in the transformation age, I consider it as a positive tool. So from my side, in the schooling, in the education system, Metaverse should be proved as a boon. So let's come together and welcome Metaverse, but it cannot be substitute of a teacher at all. So thank you very much.
Ma'am, where do you see Metaverse after 10 years? Where do you see this technology, this Metaverse, this concept of Metaverse?
It will prove kind of a substitute of the teacher, but yes, along with the teacher, this Metaverse will be like playing an important and crucial role. Some years back when I was a student, I was reading a book, a text, and where I saw that there was a student who was learning something through that screen. Nowadays, screens are there in the classes, and Metaverse will be definitely going to create a history, and it will be a revolution in the field of education. And we'll be helpless if we'll not update ourselves as a learner. We need to get lots of trainings to train our teachers. We need to involve and imbibe lots of variations in our curriculum. And then, yes, it will be a revolution in the education. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Just one, probably. Can I put some inputs?
Sure, ma'am, sure.
I'm so that is why it's my request. So she has really given such a wonderful idea about the metaverse, and as you know, it is going to be the fifth revolution. There, you know.
Ma'am, I think a lot of background noise for you. Can we do something about it?
I'm traveling actually.
Okay. Understand, ma'am.
Okay. So in that case, what I will do, I'll give my good wishes to everybody, and I will say that Metaverse is definitely help everyone. It is a new technology, and this technology will take over everything in the next 5 years. So we should go with it. And then, as you are telling, lots of sound is there. So I give my good.
Settle down for some time. Just settle down for some time. I think I can come to Shruti Sharma, ma'am, and then I can again come back to you if it's okay.
I'll be traveling after that. So thank you.
Yes. Sure,
all the best to everybody.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Shruti Sharma, ma'am. Very good evening, ma'am.
I think we all have an introduction about
Yes,
what is
ma'am, am I audible? Yes. So, ma'am, my question to you would be like, how do you use the concept of metaverse in a classroom scenario in your schools? And if you can give us some examples also.
had one experience. This was pre-corona itself. I was approached by Mr. Abhishek. He was from Drishta and 360 degrees. This is how I have still saved the number. And he had approached me with the headgears. And I called him and he came with the on a PTM and around 35, 40 headgears. I still remember he had brought which were like an experience. So virtual reality, we actually made the children feel and the parents feel how it is. And my experience has been wonderful. It was like I still remember penguins. So you where you cannot even visit. It actually makes you feel that you are there, and even the movement of the heads, you when you move up you can so there is 360 degree views and solar planet system and all. It is all labeled, and where you cannot actually visit, you are able to see that, and it's so close. Like penguins, I still remember all the oceans, and that was a wonderful experience. And they have offered to teach certain sessions. So I found it very cost effective. It was 800 rupees for 6 sessions or so. And so the solar system and all, like social studies, geography, we have to make children visit the places, but certain places like under the ocean we cannot. So all that is possible through virtual reality headgears that I still have a very good experience. So this is what I would just like to conclude, because I think all the speakers before me have very clearly made out that what is metaverse, and it is the future, and definitely will help in better understanding of concepts. Like if we even say we say longitude, latitude, and again going to Mars, or in the past, future as well as past. Like if you are studying history, so you have to teach through, for the teacher and the student, it is very difficult to visualize, and there you are actually in that kind of an environment. So I think this is what is my experience with virtual reality and metaverse, and it is the future, I would say. Avatars and everything, we all had science fiction, and this is how it started. So I would only conclude by this, that we are using it and we are very happy. Throughout the year, like we have arranged sessions for the
So,
children.
ma'am, what are the subjects you are proposing that can use the concept of metaverse effectively at present?
Biology, everything. In fact, there are videos and everything, and even the movement of the head, and you can actually feel that you are there in that. So that makes it real, though it is virtual, but metaverse makes it real experience for the children.
All right. If I can come to Dr. Pooja Sharma, ma'am, once again, please. Ma'am, what do you think are the most effectively used subjects where we can use the concept of metaverse?
Actually, ma'am, this is relevant for all, as we our patients are renowned for the science, for our IITs and all. So we love to introduce this for the science subject, and all the science teachers, they are using it. And recently we have started this in our premises, and this is really a very interesting thing, and students and the parents, they shared the positive feedback, so we loved it. And very soon we are trying to involve it for the other subjects too, though the entire school is kind of we are very sound because we reside here at Gurugram, which is renowned for the technology only. So all the classrooms are smart classroom, but we want to get it updated with the passage of time. So technically, yes, we are trying to involve it for all other subjects too.
Even for the subjects like history and geography, it would be very, very effective. Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely, ma'am. Because we just the Mughal era, so we can recreate it in the virtual world, and it will be extremely effective. What I understand is very, very interesting
For the
concept.
coming short span of time, we will try to contact you people to get a more relevant and updated version of it.
Sure, ma'am. With that, I will close the panel, thanking both Dr. Shruti Sharma, ma'am, Pooja Sharma, ma'am, and Rashmi Tyagi, ma'am. Calling back Achin for the vote of thanks, please.
Yes, I think very good session, very crisp and but very specific and good inputs. But sir, thank you so much for giving us a great start, and also for not only for sharing the advantages, but also the challenges. I think some very specific challenges you spoke of, which we all agree. Dr. Sharma, thank you so much. I think you highlighted the kind of role that technology played during pandemic, which we all acknowledge, no doubt about it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I learned a lot through your that interaction too. I learned a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Pleasure is all ours. So, and also the importance of training that you highlighted, I think which will be very important to ensure that this initiative actually is successful on the ground. And I also agree with you when you say that this is relevant for all subjects. We couldn't agree more. Actually, this is relevant for all subjects and all topics. Dr. Tyagi, thank you so much. I think Rashmi Tyagi, ma'am, she was traveling to share the leave, but she made some good points, and especially very optimistic and some great encouraging words when it comes from someone as experienced as her, that this is going to change and transform the entire education landscape in next 5 years. So I think we all look forward to it. Dr. Sharma, thank you so much. Dr. Shruti Sharma, thank you so much. I think you made some great points, especially the fact that you spoke about visualization, which I completely agree, the importance of visualization. And also you spoke about your experience, which is very real life experience as to how it has helped. So, and the fact that you have a very positive experience with regard to this, that is indeed great to hear. So I think overall great session. I'm sure members of the esteemed audience loved it as well. And there's some great takers from this. I thank you so much. I really sincerely thank all of you for being with us here today evening. And I look forward to your continued support in the sessions to come. Thank you. Thank you. Take care and goodbye.